Hi everyone. I hope you can all hear me okay. Oh, you're all joining, so that's good. Hello, welcome, happy Sunday. I'm just going to post you a link. Can you all just leave me a comment if you can hear me okay, please? I'm just going to leave you a link as to where you can find everything that I'm going to use today. I don't know if I'm actually live on Facebook yet. Can't see anything. Oh, there I am. Okay. So we've got lots of people on Instagram, and for some reason your comments aren't popping up. But hi Jackie, Christine, hello, Sana, hello. Okay, that's great. Right, I'm just going to post a link here. So I forget every time. So everything that I'm going to show you today is going to be on that link. Oops, let me just change my screen. Hello. Yeah, welcome. So we've got a couple, so we've got some regulars. I just want to quickly have a look in Instagram, and because we've just quickly name check. So we've got Lolo, Rosemary, Crafty Cars, Night Owls, Jackie. Thank you all for joining me. All you need to do is just leave a comment, and I can see it throughout the live. So and we've got Lynn as well, and Emily. Thank you everyone. So we're finally working on Instagram. I don't know what keeps going wrong with it, but anyway, never mind. And we've got lots of you on YouTube as well. So Chrissy, hello. So I'm not going to ramble. We need to get on. So I've got a lot I want to get through today. So let's just crack on, shall we? So let me just make sure all my cameras are actually switched on. No, they're not. I've forgotten to turn one on. Okay, just bear with me one, guys. It's the important one I've not turned on, as usual. Okay, so, excuse me, bit of a karaoke day. Still got this mucky mark, look. It's actually in the glass. It's not even on the top. I cleaned my mat today. Do you know, the best thing to clean your mat is actually anti-bac, isn't it? It just seems to get nearly everything off. I've got a few little dewberries on here I need to scratch off, but this is like a scuff on the glass, and I just cannot. It is. It's like a. I've obviously anyway. Never mind. That's not your problem, but it just bugs me every week. I hate having a mucky mat. Right, anyway, so, lots of you today. Shani, Wendy, hello. Thanks for catching the first live, Shani. Okay, right, I'm going to crack on. I'm just going to, that was why I switched cameras, because I just want to blow my nose before I start. Excuse me. And I'm just going to grab a drink. So, how are you all? Are you all crafting today? So, the first thing for me to mention is we've got a little code for you today, like we always do. So if you want to win a giveaway, and I'm not sure what I'm giving away today, it'll be something new, something from the new collection. So I'll decide it as we go through what you're going to get. So it'll be a nice little surprise towards the end. So if you want to win, just comment win in the comments, and at the end I'm going to pick someone random, okay? And I make it fair every week, so make sure that the same people don't win all the time. And also if you want to shop anything that I'm going to show you today, use code live15. Let me write it in the comments for you, live15, because that will get you 15% off your order until Tuesday. Okay, so it runs out on Tuesday. It's only valid for 2 days, 3 days. But that's your little exclusive code. So that's in the comment if you lose it or anything like that. I've put a comment in there for all the products today. So on the website, I don't know if you realise that I'm doing it, but every time we do a live or we have a hobby maker show or anything special, on the homepage there's a category that says TV and lives. And everything goes in there because then it's easy for you to find. I just think it's easy for you to find what I've actually used. It might be a week later and you think, what did Nikki use on that thing? And you can go in there and you can see it. And that's why I do it. It takes me ages to do it. That's why sometimes I'm late, because I'm like, I need to get all these products in. It takes a long time to do. And also, whilst I'm mentioning that, I've actually set up a shop the project section on the website homepage as well. So, you know, like we've done like the things that are really like a proper project. Like we've done what have we done lately? We did the little seed packet. We did with the freebies. They're in there. The shabby sheds, so they're in there with the video links and everything, so you can easily find everything. And I did the one last time we did as well. What was it we did? Oh, the little the little doo-doo, you know the one I mean. Anyway, last time's projects, if you didn't catch it last time, go in there, shop the project, and you'll see the video links. You can see YouTube, and you can shop the items from that project as well. Anyway, there's loads of you joining, so thank you. Right, let's crack on then, shall we? So I can't believe it's a week since we were on Hobby Maker, and we have lots of new releases. So we're kind of clearing stock. So if you didn't see the show, there's some mega bargains. Now, before I even start, I've got to tell you, we're actually back on again next Sunday, so a week today. I can't remember the times. I'll let you know through the week. But yeah, we've got lots of things on that show. Not new things, but things that you might not have seen, and some amazing deals. Like I say, we've been reorganizing the warehouse and we have no room. So I thought it was because Chris was being messy, and it isn't. It's just that we have no room. So we've got to get rid of some older inventory, things that have been hanging around a while. We don't have big stocks of any of it. So when it's gone, it's gone. So, you know, things that we might only have 10 of, or 20 or 50, you know, but amazing bargains. So make sure you check out the Hobby Maker shows. And if you didn't see last Sunday's show, that's in the TV section on the website with all the deals there. So if you want some bargains, and I mean bargains, like rock bottom, we're losing money bargains, then you need to shop those, okay? Because they are all like clearance offers. And I mean, 15 paper packs, a set of 15 paper packs, and they were less than £1 each. So I can't even remember what the price was now. I haven't got my sheet with me. But yeah, it was a ridiculous price. Okay, so go and find those. Anyway, right, so new things. Let's go on with the new. So I am really excited today because we've got things that are favourites and that have been made even better and that you've all loved over the years. And also we have brand new stencil frosting. Yes, I've been waiting so long for these. I've been waiting months for these to come in. In fact, probably about a year for us to get these. And we've got loads of new stencils. So I'm going to crack on because these stencils are special. Okay, they're not just any old stencil. So let's crack on. I am, oh, you don't need to see my cup there, do you? Let me move that away from there. I'm moving it away from the computer after last time. And also, I'm just going to move this camera angle because it's a little bit weird, isn't it? It's gone a bit, bear with me, guys. We've We've gone a little bit off key, haven't we? Let me just zoom in and see if I can move. That's better. Okay, you don't need me there. There. Okay. Right. Okay. So let's get cracking. I've even, it's taken me all morning to unpack my boxes from Hobby Maker. Honestly, it's the prep that we have to do for TVs. Well, I do anyway. I don't know if anyone else does. But for me, it just takes forever. And I go and I'm like a pack horse. I literally have to take I take my whole entire craft station virtually. I was having a conversation with someone when I was there and she said, oh no, I only take a box. And I thought, well, I take a box, but it's got my entire craft station in it. Because, I don't want to get stuck with things, not having things. Right, what should we do first? Let me see. I don't know what to do. Oh, Carol, you were in a play last week in Durham. Very good. That's very interesting. Gosh, I wish I was that interesting. I do nothing other than craft. Right, what are we going to do first? I think what we'll do stamps and dies first. Okay, because that'll kind of get us going, won't it? Okay, so we have here some stamps that you may have seen before. Okay, so these stamps are just so cute. Let me see. Where's me zoom in? There. Okay. So we have these great stamps. Now these have been massive favourites. So the stamps themselves are not new, okay? We've had these for a couple of years now. And the reason I'm showing you these is because for the first time, these were such good, like, I want to say good sellers, but that's not a good word, is it? A good seller. They were so popular because this isn't about selling you anything. It's just about showing you what we're doing, and bringing you some I hate to use the word sell, seller. I'm not here to, well, I guess we are. We're a business at the end of the day, but that's not what the lives are about. So a little bit blurry, aren't we? Let me see if I can sharpen that up a little bit. A little bit better. That's a little bit better. Right, okay. So anyway, so I'm rambling. So we've got 3 sets of stamps, and I'm kind of sorry. Oh, it's here. Sorry, I've lost a set. So we've got this one, which is called Pile of Gifts. Okay, so like I said, we released this probably 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, and really popular. We've restocked it loads of times, but it's one of our best ever or most popular Christmas stamp sets. Going with that, or we released this at the same time because we did some smaller sets of stamps, kind of thinking budget friendly. Not everyone always wants to make lots and lots of Christmas cards. I know it's our most popular time of year for card making, but if you've only got a small family, you might only be making 2 or 3 cards, so you don't, you might not want to actually buy a great big set. So I always try at Christmas to do some smaller sets as well. So these are, but I say that, these are like a 2-inch by 4-inch stamp. So this is our best ever, most rated, top customer favourite Christmas stamp ever. So this is the Tales of New York. Look at this. And, I can't lift it up. There you go. This is a little row of cats and dogs all wearing little Santa hats, all from the back with their scarves on, and they're all in a line. And it's just the Tales of New York with the pun on the word tails. So, if you Love the song. I should have had it playing in the background, shouldn't I? Now, I've got to say, as we go on, that these are different to the old sets. If you've got the old sets, what I did was I rejigged them. So there was a few sets of stamps. Some had sold out, and what I've done is I've rejigged these so they're like reformatted, if you like. So then we have this A6 or 4x6, and previously this was two separate sets of sentiments. Now I love these bold sentiments. I just think, they just give you such a modern look to your cards. So you can take an image that's quite traditional, but if you add a really bold sentiment to it, it really kind of makes it pop, and it just makes it a little bit more modern. So it's a good way bringing these into your stash, even if you don't have a lot of money to spend, and maybe you think, can't really afford to buy any more Christmas stuff this year, or that you're thinking, oh, I've got lots of stuff for Christmas that I need to use. You know, we're all the same. We're all crafters. We're all the same. We all have a ton of stuff. But this set is a good way to maybe pep up some of your older stash. Now, like I said, this was two separate stamps, and I took my favourite sentiments out of those two sets and put it into this one. Okay, so these are different sizes. The same with these. These are not the same as the previous. So if you've already bought these 2-3 years ago, they're not quite the same. Now, I'm telling you that, and I'm going on about it because what I decided to do, because they are so popular and we do have to restock them every year, is that I've brought you the dies to match. Okay, so the dies will only match these. So please don't buy the dies if you've already got these stamps, because they're not going to necessarily fit. I mean, they might do, but they're all resized. Okay, so they're slightly different sizes. So, you know, like, I know for a fact the Deck the Halls was not on this set, I don't think, but everything is just a slightly different size. It might be bigger, it might be smaller. So you've got dies for each of these sets. So dies for the gifts, dies for the Tales of New York, and also what I really love is you've got dies for this as well. And obviously these are then standalone dies that are perfect size for card sentiments. So, you know, with this one, you know, you kind of need to get these anyway. They're all available as a set. I've purposely not listed the dies separately because I don't want anyone who's already bought the old stamps to go and buy the dies and then be no good. Okay, so you can only get the dies and the stamps together. So that's those. I want to show you just, I don't have lots of samples for these because we actually, as I said, these are like maybe 2-3 years ago. And when we moved in 2023, gosh, I can't believe it's nearly 2 years, guys. 2 years next month since we moved. It's crazy. So I couldn't bring all the samples with me, so I had to get rid of loads of samples, which absolutely killed me. But anyway, I've got pictures here of what you can make. So this is the gifts. Now, ignore some of the sentiment. This was the sentiment that was with that, you see. So I've actually swapped that out and put something different with it. Love this card idea. So this is, you know, like using it as an edger. Obviously, when the design team made these, they didn't have the dies, so they fussy cut this. And I just love this so much. But now you can actually do this with your die. So this is the Tales of New York one. Love how you can go all kind of funky, distressed, a little bit grungy with these as well. So, but they're just really quick and easy to colour and just make fab, really, really nice cards. You can do anything with these. They can either be, because they're sketchy, let me show you that close up. Can you see how they're quite sketchy? Because of that, they're very, very forgiving. So you can, you know, you can colour these, paint them, ink them, do whatever you want. very, very forgiving, very quick and easy to colour. Doesn't matter with these if you go outside the lines, nobody's going to look at it and go, that's scruffy, because it kind of adds to the look of like the overall feel that it is that sort of grungy look. Now I've got to show you these. Okay, so Natalia very kindly remade me some samples. It's amazing. I absolutely love this. So Tales of New York. Like I say, it's been an absolute favourite. Look at the dimension on that. Absolutely love it. She's obsessed with making these little embroidery hoops. I'm going to actually, I'm waiting for Chris to test them for me. I'm going to make some little MDF versions of these hoops. I mean, you can get these quite cheaply, but we're going to have some MDF ones purely for Natalia because she loves them so much. And every time she makes something in one, I'm like, oh, I just absolutely adore that. So, you know, you can see though how quick and easy these are to colour, and just make your little snowbank and snowdrift and add a sentiment, and that's it. But look how good the sentiments look. They just really, really pop. And because these are like quite what's the word? Quite not square, because they're obviously not, but you can snip into them really easily is what I'm trying to say. So like on this, you could actually, if you didn't have much room, you could actually cut the top row of that sentiment and you could snip the text out and then kind of layer it and scatter it on your card. So here's another one. Look, she's made a gorgeous window. Like, this is like a little gift, isn't it? It's just fab. Again, real statement. Look at this. I love this. Look at this. So this pop. Sorry, Natalia, I made a mess of that. So look, kind of like an actual frame. Isn't that fab? So easy to do though. Look. Do you know, I never make things like this. Maybe we need to try and do this today if I can, if we've got time. I need to hurry up though. But yeah, just fab. That's so easy to do, and I never ever think to do anything like that. I'm rubbish. Honestly, I'm so in my comfort zone these days. Love that. So that's that one. And she's just duplicated them at the top, look. But she's, oh, what's she done there? Let me see what she's done. Anyway, we'll come back to it later because we've got a lot to get through. And then lastly, look at this little masterpiece. Well, big masterpiece, this one. How fab is this? So, love. Look at this amazing sky. So this is just Distress Oxides. Oh yeah. She's put Butterfrost. Look, can you see the shimmer on there? I'm going to show you that in a second. Fab, isn't it? This is the recent Sun and Moon stencil. Have I got that here with me? Yeah, I have. So let me just quickly show you that, what she's used. I didn't notice that before, actually, when I was looking at it. But yeah, luckily I've just got it here. So, remember a couple of weeks ago, we actually released this stencil. This is that. Look. So that's your moon from there. So just absolutely fab that. So must have that one. You're going to use that all the time, that stencil. So that's, you'll see that that's the Sun and Moon stencil. These here, this is called, this is a die we've had for quite a long time now. And again, it's a popular one that we keep restocking. I think it's on clearance if there are any, because we've had it a long time. And pretty much anything that's all, you know, kind of, we just need to clear things and make some space. We've got no space for new things coming in. So this is called Iced Branches. And basically you get 2 branches. You get this one here and this one. Now, it's not just for winter. You can, if you cut that in brown, it's just a great branch. And it's really good for making kind of effects like this, for making forests. It's really good for also making fences as well. So a really good one. So that's just a little sneaky peek. Well, not a sneaky peek, but that's what we've been up to stamp and die wise. So I'm going to put them to a side. And I am going to demo, honestly, I am. But we just have a lot to get through. So the next thing that I want to show you is, because it leads into the stencil frosting. Let me zoom out of it. In fact, I'm going to keep that there. Let me just move over. Oops. Okay. So we have 9 brand new stencils, and everyone is just crazy for stencils right now. They're really having a big moment. So we have, I'm going to show you the colour boards actually, because you'll be able to see them better. So first of all, we have this gorgeous one, which I know is going to be a favourite. This is the Super Snowflakes. Now, what I need to, the reason I'm kind of, what do they call it? Is it pontificating, where you're going on and on and on about something? And you'll hear me going on and on and on about something, okay? I'm going to go on and on and on about these stencils because these are incredible. So this is your actual stencil. And if you know us, you'll be able to see that we've kind of changed the packaging on these. And there's a reason. Emboss-Ink, okay? These stencils I've been moaning for ages and saying to Chris, I really want to emboss my stencils, but I don't get, when you emboss a stencil, generally you just get an impression. So I went on the hunt and I've hunted down some thick, really nice, good quality, premium material. And this material actually costs us a lot of money. So it kind of, you know, really, it's significant. It's not just a few pennies more. It's significantly more. But it's thicker. And what that means is now when you emboss a stencil that's under the emboss ink, you need to look for this, okay? So you can already emboss any of our stencils, obviously, but let's be real. I'm not trying to hoodwink anyone here. So basically, you know, when you put a stencil through your die, if you're doing it through a die cutting machine, this is, which is the easiest way, let's face it. Really, what you get is an impression. You get an indentation. These, you actually get an emboss, okay? So I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Okay. Look at that. Look at the embossing on that. Ignore this. I've actually put stencil frosting on here, but I want you to pay attention to the actual depth that this stencil has embossed. Now, I'm not going to lie and say this is like an embossing folder. It's not. We can't do that with the stencil. You know, you just can't. It's not possible. So, but this is the deboss side, actually. So this is the reverse. So my tip to you on some of these, because obviously some stencils emboss and they have emboss and deboss areas. This is the back of that stencil. So I actually embossed it onto the silver, but the stencil itself, obviously, you've got lots of areas in here that are debossed as well. So when I came into, so when I went onto the silver, the areas that are debossed on the stencil actually emboss. So it's kind of like reverse, if you like. So then I was like, okay, let's see what it looks like if I do it on the reverse of the reverse of the cardstock, because I want it to be embossed. And that's what I got. Now, I did actually try and turn my cardstock over so that, because I was thinking, oh, well, surely I can get the emboss onto here if I turn the cardstock over. But because this is coated on this side, it didn't work very well. So I went back to just having an impression. So really, but I mean, isn't that amazing? And then look at this loveliness here in the corner. It's quite hard to see because this is so shiny. It's taking away the sparkle. I'm going to show you these in a minute. So, but that's how good the embossing is on here. So I'm going to flick through and show you some of the others that we've got. So we have a Merry Christmas text. Let me find this one. I love this one. Okay, so remember, you're going to look for this packaging where it's got emboss ink on it, and it genuinely is an embossing stencil. A lot of people say, oh yeah, our stencils emboss, but they're very disappointing, I find, when you actually go to do it. So let me find that. I want to show you the embossing here. So again, on that silver, look at that. So nice. Now, on an embossing folder, with something that's that fine, it's actually quite hard to get a proper emboss because it almost breaks the cardstock. So you very often, when it's a fine detail stencil like this is, you can often get breakage. It'll split the coating. Look at it on the gold. My word, look at that. So deep, honestly, it's brilliant. And again, I've put some texture paste here at the bottom. Okay, so that's the Merry Christmas one. Then we have Beautiful Bauble. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I love this one. It's so gorgeous. So that one, again, look at this. So nice. You know me, I'm not really a mirror card or a shiny card person, but I tell you what, when it comes to embossing a stencil, I'm a changed girl. So what next? Oh, I've got to show you this. This is my favourite. I can't get away from it. This is my absolute favourite. So don't forget, everyone, you need to enter win in the comments to be in the giveaway. So make sure you enter win. So that's that one. And I want to show you what I did here. Look. Can you see this? So this is on craft card. So what I did was I actually embossed the stencil first. So it, I don't know if you can see. It is actually, can you see here? Look, it is actually embossed up here. And then I left the stencil on and actually put texture paste over the top of it. So I've got loads of different effects because I mixed all my textures together. And then wait until you see this. If you ever needed to get a stencil, oh my goodness, look at that. Isn't that incredible? And this is what I mean. Look how amazing the embossing is on there. And the reason I'm kind of going on is because this now elevates your stencils from Polkadoodles. So, I mean, there might be other people that do this on a really thick material, but there's not many. So this is the berry background, which I love just like that. That's just blue and green Distress Oxide. And then again, over onto that. It's so lush, very luxurious. And then what I love is that, I mean, that's how deep it is, that it actually comes through. This is a thick cardstock. This is like a good 250 gram weight cardstock. Now, I do have a tip for you. When you're using, try using different types of card, because what I found is the cheaper the card, generally the cheaper the card, the more texture it has. So, like sometimes you have a cheap cardstock, especially on white card, this is. So you get a cheap cardstock and you maybe make that the base of your cards if you make your own card bases. But you don't want to use that to colour on because it bleeds. And that's because the texture of the card is really open. Now, this is actually a layering stencil, so you get the dots that are the centres and you get the flower so that you can actually get your little multicolour. And what I actually did with this, where's it gone? This is how great these stencils are. Can you see? I actually have 2 layers of embossing here. How cool is that? So basically, I embossed the dots first, and then I laid the flower stencil over the top and put it back through, and I thought, this is never going to work. It's just going to completely flatten the dots. And it has, but there's still a really good impression there because of the depth and the thickness of the stencil. It doesn't actually wipe out because the emboss is deep enough in the first place. Isn't that fab? So that's not just a Christmas stencil, that's an all year round stencil, as is the berry one as well. I would use that all year round. So they're both lush. So going back to the cardstock, this is called Twinkling Lights. How fab is this? Again, just a really good background. Kind of, if you put it that way up, look, it could be stage lights. You know, it just a really, really nice one, this one. So pretty. So it's 2 in 1, that one. And again, look how well that embosses. Oh, I'm just in love. I tell you, I can't stop going on about them because I am really, really in love with these. Massively in love. And then we've got little gingerbread men, look. Aren't they cute? Little gingerbread people. And again, look how deep that is. It's fab. And look, deep enough that you can then actually put your texture paste over the top as well. So look, I made extra dimension. I don't know if you can you see that? Oops. It's quite difficult to see because of the shine on the cardstock, but you can see the actual depth. So this is the texture paste coming up. And then finally, so we've got 9. This is your cute Christmas trees. So absolutely fab. Now I want to show you some these actually in action. So let's start with the Christmas trees. Look at this. Oh, beautiful. Isn't that fab? So that leads us into our texture pastes. So love what Natalia did with this one. So shall we see the texture? So, but I want to tell you just quickly. Finish talking about the cardstock because this is a really good tip. So if you find that your when you emboss and I'm going to show you how to do it because I think a lot of people don't really know how to do it, and it's really easy, but you just do have to get to grips with it. Basically you need, the way that I'm going to do it is with a die cutting machine. The cardstock, so cheap card is softer, it's not as smooth. So we all buy super smooth cardstock because we want it for colouring and for a really nice crisp finish and for die cutting and all of that. That's brilliant. Don't use that for embossing with your stencils. Or you can if that's all you've got. But if you've got cheap cardstock, put the cheap stuff through because it's got a texture in it, and we call it the tooth. And the tooth is basically how the fibres of the paper are laid down when the paper is made. So if you don't know how paper's made, it's like putting a great big like watery bath. It's all the fibres from the trees and everything. It's all like goes through a manufacturing process. It all gets split. All the fibres get split. And it's how the fibres are laid down. So the more fibres and the more pressure makes the super smooth. The less processing is what makes the cheap paper, and the fibres are further apart. So that's the paper that bleeds. So when you put your ink on it or you use an alcohol marker and it goes, it's because the tooth is open, and the tooth is actually the cells of the fibres within the paper. It's hard, without me getting into it. Anyway, so the cheap card has the soft tooth, okay? And that works better for embossing. That's what I'm trying to say. Took me 10 minutes, but I'm sorry. But anyway, I'll get off your screen now. You don't want to see me, do you? So before we move, I'm going to actually get my die cutting machine, and I want to show you what I mean. And I want to actually show you how to do this, because I know for a fact there are people that don't know. So I'm going to use my... Can I zoom out a bit? Not really. Let me do it here. Okay. So I'm going to use my Gemini. Okay. This is the only die cutting machine I actually... Well, I do own a couple more, but I actually use the Gemini the most. Okay. And I've got the big one, I've got this one, and I've got the little baby one. So all 3 sizes. So what I want to do, I'm going to grab some rubbish paper if I've got any. Let me see. Yeah, so this is some paper that I've got, and it's really quite rough. I don't know where it's come from. Well, it's card actually. So it's quite a thick card. I would say this is a 250. But it is quite rough. You can hear it when I kind of like do that. So let's just, it works really nicely on this cardstock. I want to sort of show you from one to another so that then you can tell. Right, what I'm going to do, so I've got my bottom plate. Now, if you don't have a Gemini, you're going to need to play around with your plates and everything else, okay? So I've got my shim here. I'm going to get rid of my magnetic mat, which I don't need. So I've got my shim, I think. And this is my rubber mat, okay? Now, if you've got a purple Gemini one, I also have that, but the other day I couldn't find it, and I found this in my cupboard. I thought I must have another embossing mat somewhere, and the one I found was actually this. So this is a new one and it's black. Now I have to say this is slightly more rubbery than the purple one, and I like this one better. It gives me a better emboss. And after 15 years of trying to emboss my stencils and forgetting about it all the time, what I've actually done is I've finally put a sticker on my Gemini that tells me how to do it, because every time I come to do this I forget what the sandwich is, okay? So basically what you need is your bottom plate, you need your shim, your embossing mat on the top of that, and a little tip for you as well, just I have had problems in the past where the mat can move if there's too much pressure in your machine, and if you don't have it lined up properly on your mat, then it can get a bit bunched up and you end up in all sorts of trouble. So make sure your embossing mat is really flush on your plate. Then you put your paper on, and then you put your stencil on. Which one? Shall we do this one? Okay, so Merry Christmas. So here's a little trick for you to remember. So this is going to push through the paper, so the paper is going to come up through the stencil. Make sure that you've got your stencil facing you. If you did have one that debossed, you know, such as the Super Snowflake, then to flip it the other way, okay? So then it would, the embossing would be on the underneath, okay? But you get a crisp impression on the top side of the emboss, okay? So then all we're going to do is we just put our plate on, and we're just going to push that forward. And this is where I always get a bit nervous that it hasn't worked. Oh, now that hasn't worked very well. Okay, oh, I know why. I'll tell you why. Here's a little tip for you. This is what I found with the Gemini. I need a shim. I've ignored my instructions here. I need a little shim. So I was looking at this thinking, what's that there for? This is actually my shim. Okay, so I'm going to put this back through. That's why it didn't work. So I need a little bit more pressure through my machine. So this is, I think this is probably where a lot of people get a bit frustrated, because it has actually embossed. You won't be able to see it, but it has embossed. It's embossed the little bits, but not, I know it'll go way, way better than that. So I'm going to try and lay that back over, just so I don't waste my cardstock. You can actually find, you can tell it's embossed because it actually finds itself again. Now I'm going to just tape it this time because I don't want that to move, because I'll get a double emboss. So mat back down again, make sure it's on nicely. Let's try that again. So play around. Make sure if you don't get a good emboss with these stencils, it's the pressure on your machine, okay? Because I've tried this in 3 machines now, and I need the shim. It might be, I might get a good result if I put the metal shim in. I don't know, but it's a lot better. Maybe I need another shim. I'm going to just do it again, guys. Let me put another one in, if it'll go through with another shim. This is very detailed stencil, this one. I'm doing this. And actually, maybe it's not, maybe it's the cardstock. Right, let me try it on a different cardstock, because look, I want to show you. This is what I mean about trial and error. Whoops, can you see there? I mean, I've got a good emboss there. That's pretty good. And this is a distressed stencil, by the way. So where you've kind of seen like little blobby bits like this, when you get the stencil, you realise that's actually how the stencil is. So, you know, it is actually, do you know, I think that's pretty good when I'm looking at it. I think I'm being a bit harsh. It is really good, actually. I think it's just, how nice that is. So nice. That'd make a really nice background anyway. But I am going to try. Let's see if, I don't know if I'll be able to get another shim in there. But anyway, we'll see. Let's do it again on another piece of card. I'm going to use the same cardstock. And then I'm going to show you the difference. Because this makes such a big difference. And I don't want anyone to get frustrated and go, well, Nikki said it was going to emboss and it hasn't. You know, it is about what you do with it at the end of the day. Right, let's try this again. Yeah, keep entering win, everyone. Someone's going to win. Someone's going to win we haven't even looked at the frosting yet. My goodness. Oh, that's embossed a bit better. I did get it through. You maybe can't tell. I think you can tell, actually, yeah. So an extra shim even. That's going to give me oh gosh, look at that. It is literally like an embossing folder almost. Not, obviously not as deep, but I'm really happy with that. So look, that was 2 shims, 2 paper shims. Can you see the difference? You can actually, can't you? So look, one shim, 2 shims. I'm looking here, look at this bit here to this bit here. So it's actually a lot deeper. Now, that's the stencil, okay? So obviously if you put 2 shims in with a normal stencil, then that's also going to be better. But you still won't get that effect on a normal stencil. Can you see here where it's kind of, you've got more of just like an indentation? That's what you're going to get on a normal stencil. I'm on a bit of a mission for everyone to do more with their stencils. So let me, which one shall we do? Oh, I've only got my little Gemini out, so I'm not gonna. Let's do this one. Okay. I just love it when it's. I personally love embossing on white. That's my favourite thing. So let's go, because this is the first time I've used 2 shims, and I'm actually really liking that. This is going to come out beautiful. So this is the border. Now I'm going to quickly show you some extra samples. Oh, I can tell this is deep already. You know it's deep when the stencil sticks to the cardstock. Look, it's sticking to it. Oh, wow. Wow, 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 wow. Ew, look at that. And the reason I wanted to do this is I wanted to have embossing within our product range but without having an embossing folder, because you pay quite a lot of money for an embossing folder and it only really does one thing. You know, your stencil does lots of things, doesn't it? So, you know, it just adds that extra thing to your stencil. Wow, love that. Right, those two shims are staying in there now. I need to, so little tip for you, make sure, look, can you see? I've put a sticker on the front of my machine telling me what to do. So emboss, stencil, paper, embossing mat, shim, plate. And I'm going to redo that sticker and put 2 paper shims in there. 2 cardstock shims. Right, let me just get my machine out of the way. So that is, oh God. Right, okay, so running out of time. So just before we go, so we saw the Christmas trees ones, okay. Let me see. Actually, I'll show you them in a minute. Okay, so next I want to show you. Oh, I'm running out of space and time. Okay. Trying to make space for things. Right, okay. So let's then move on. So I want to show you our brand new stencil frosting. So we have 8 of these amazing, they're called stencil butter frosting because I wanted it to encompass everything that these are going to do. Obviously we're going to have more colours. Could we bring dies out to go with the stencils? Well, watch this space. Indeed. Watch this space is all I'm going to say. I'm already there, Sandra. Yep, thank you. So we have stencil butter frosting. Ooh, where's my camera gone? Ooh. So some of these are creamy. Some of them are like frosting. Okay. So I have to say in here, so we've got 8 colours. Now, although we're launching these for Christmas, they're not really Christmas colours. But we have 6 colours, and then we actually have a gloss white and a clear. Now, we made a mistake when we did the gloss white. It was called matte white. It was meant to be a matte white, actually, and I thought matte white was, you know, like matte. It wasn't shiny, and that was what I ordered. And when they came, their idea of matte is different, so they came and it was actually gloss. So guess who had to sit and relabel every single one of these? So if you end up pulling the label up and you think, why does it say matte white underneath? That's why. It's definitely a gloss. Now we have, I'm going to go to a different camera here. So we have here the clear. Now this is basically like your glossy accents, okay? So I've got no better way of actually saying that. So glossy accents in a tub that makes it easy to apply. You can use this on your stencils and it's just going to look amazing. Great for dimension. These are really thick. Look, I'm holding that upside down and these are not coming out, look. I mean, it will eventually, but to be honest, it's not even starting to drip. So it just doesn't move. These are really, really nice and thick. Now I have to say that each one, because each colour has a different consistency, they you know, they're made differently. They have different pigments in and everything else. Ooh, look at this. You can see the texture there on that build up. So for instance, the gloss white is actually, I mean, again, look, it's not coming out. It's just super, super thick. Really, really opaque as well. This just literally makes your projects pop. It's so lush. Let me get some cardstock. In fact, actually, I've got samples here that I can show you. So let me, oh, I've only got 4. Where's all the rest? Oh, I've lost the sample cards. Okay, so this is your clear gloss. Okay. and this is what you're going to get. So nice and clear. You can see, look at the dimension, look how dimensional they are, and that's only with one coat on. If you went back and actually did an extra coat, you would be able to see that even better. So the gloss white, oh, happy birthday, Pippa. Thanks for joining us on your birthday. So this is your gloss white. So again, really glossy. It's not showing up on camera very well there. There you go. Look, you can see the shine on that. So absolutely lush. You can see how opaque it is on the black as well, which is, I kind of made them go back and redo this. So I was like, no, I want it to be more white. I don't want any transparency on it at all. Then we have, where are we? So that's those two. Then we have Opal Frost, which is delicious. I've tried, it's really difficult to, I'm trying to make the camera, it moved, there you go, it refocuses this camera. So you can kind of see, you can't really tell from the side much what they're actually like. So, and this is your Opal Frost. Look at that. So this has kind of like a very pearly kind of shimmer. In hindsight now, I think I should have maybe called it, I don't know, I was struggling to call it anything because it's kind of pearly, but it's not. It's got a definite glitter. So these are really glitter rich, as you can see, very shimmery. Do you know, it might be better on this side angle again. There you go. You can see a bit better with the shimmer. You see that? There, so you can see the dimensions. So this is just one coat through a stencil. They're just absolutely lush. So this is why they're called frosting. So we've got kind of, these go through, these are like butter, so really buttery smooth. These ones are like a butter frosting. So that's why they're called butter frosting, okay? And then obviously we're going to bring new formulations, new colours. So sugared pink, delish. So look how lovely this is. So they look completely different on white and black, look. So on the black, you get a little bit of a purpley shimmer, lilac-y tone coming through it. And that's on all of them. I'm really annoyed. Where's my other samples gone? Oh, guys, I need to show you the rest because the rest are lush. Have I got them in here? Just bear with me because we're missing 4 samples. I don't know where they are. That's annoying. I've been through all my stuff today as well and sorted it, so I hope they haven't got lost. Because obviously you need to see them when they're actually dry. So black card. So I'm going to try and do black card, white card. Let's get a stencil. Okay, so let me turn the brightness down here. Okay, so we've got Sunbeam Shimmer. Ooh, look at that. So nice. And again, you can see, look how thick they are. Look, this is what I mean. These have got such a good consistency. So this is, oh, this is so shimmery. Sorry, it's the light that's really, the camera's adjusting to the light. Okay, let's go. And you don't have to use a lot. You can scrape it right back if you want to. So I'm going to just do a bit with a little, and then I'll do a bit with a lot. I must admit I've been quite generous with myself when I've been doing this. But what I do is I kind of push it through. So can you see, like here, I've put loads on, but then what I do, so that's going to give me the dimension, but then when I pull my stencil off, I actually then come in and scrape all the excess off. So actually I don't use that much at all, really. I need a bit of scrap. Just grab some scrap. So I'm really tight. So I go onto my scrap paper and then I go in and scrape it off there as well. So I've literally got no waste. And because this is thick, you can actually do that quite easily. So look. Oops. How nice. Now, when that dries, it'll dry on the black a slightly different colour. You can just see it slightly there. It's more kind of apparent with other colours. Let me just... They are amazing, Fiona. They're really, really lovely. They really are. There's a reason why we've not done stencil butters before, and it was because, you know, to be quite honest, a lot of people get them all made at the same place. So, right, which one next? Let's do Forest Twinkle. Oh, this one's so nice. Look. So this is like a greeny gold. So really nice. And again, look. Look. They don't... This is not going anywhere. This is really thick. So you can see. Okay, let's go in. So again, I'm going to do a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry these with my heat gun so that you can see. So we'll do a little bit. And then let's do a lot. Going a bit thicker. Oh. So this one, sorry, I want to get my waist off. So again, let me just move that out of the way. So scrape all that off. So there's literally no wastage whatsoever. And then scrape that off as well. You know, it all helps, doesn't it? Let's be frugal. Just make sure that you put the lids back on. They all come with like a little sealed cap as well, which is really good. Look at that one. That's like really sort of quite verdigris, that colour. So can you see you've got green and gold in there together, and it's like a little bit brown. But it's really nice for like vintagey effects. So that was the one that I used on this sign. Let me just find it. On there. See, like the Christmas tree here, they do change when they dry. So, you know, the colour pops out more once it actually dries off. So, you know, you can see there just mixing. So here I've got the gold and then the green next to it because it is different. Okay, right, so what's the other ones we've not done yet? Ocean Sparkles. Let me just clean my knife. So we've done Opal Frost, we've just got Ocean Sparkles and Mermaid Mist. Again, look at this. So look, I can happily turn that upside down. It ain't going anywhere. Can you see? Ooh, no, you can't. Okay, I'm going to use this bottom bit of the stencil because that's a bit dirty there. Okay, so, oops. Look, you can see that blue coming through. Oh, how lush is that? There. And then I'm going to come in again. Let's add a bit of texture there, a bit of dimension there. Oh, so nice. Let me just clean that off. Didn't have a lot of waste on that one anyway. I think that might be my favourite. I don't know. They're all my favourites. I love them all. Look at that. Look at that lilac-y, bluey. Well, it's like bluey lilac. Just so lush. So the colour is really going to pop out on the black. Okay. So, but you can see it. It's just like a bluey, shimmery, pearlescent on the white. There you go. You can see it on there. Really nice. Okay. And then the last one is the Mermaid Mist. And I'm glad we're doing these two together because they are different. Okay. So With this one, you get a lilac shimmer coming through. I'm being a bit tight with this. Oops. You can see it already there, can't you? That's a great angle. Let's do a little bit more. I really love just adding that depth. Okay, 1 second. But you can see how far these are going to go. I'm not wasting anything at all, and hardly anything on my stencil either, so that's going to be a breeze to wash. And then if you do want to get any, you know, just obviously you're going to be a bit cleaner. You can see how much I've used this already. And then look at this one. Whoa, look at that mermaid sparkle. So that's the difference between the ocean and the mermaid. Really nice. Now, I've called these kind of summery names, and we're obviously, like, now we're into kind of Christmas crafting, but you know, these are definitely usable for both all year round and for Christmas as well. So let me just blast these with a head dry. These dry really quickly as well, but because they're so thick, you just can get amazing dimension. I mean, I've got a good 2 to 3 millimeters dimension here on these letters, on some of these. Now it's going to take a little while, but at least it gives it a little blast. But they do, the colour definitely starts to pop once you actually dry them off. Oh, Angie, don't worry. You've only heard me rambling on, really. We've done stencils, texture paste, new stamps. Look, you can see them all starting to come. Like, look at the green coming through there. I love this one. It's like that patina verdigris effect. So really nice. So we've got Mermaid Mist, Ocean Sparkle, Forest Twinkle is that green, Sunbeam Shimmer is the gold, and look, dry already. And then you've got Sugar Pink, Opal Frost, which is that creamy like pearl with a slight gold finish, Gloss White, give you that posh look, and then your Clear Gloss, which is just lush. So that is the new stencil butters, all available to order now. So the link to the where you need to shop is in the comments, guys, right up at the top. So I'm just going to put them out of the way so I don't get them everywhere. And then I want to just show you some more samples that the girls made. So I need to show these. So here we have just a gingerbread stamp. Excuse me. I need to just take a quick drink. Forest Twinkle is your fave, followed by the clay. Yeah. It was so hard picking the colours for the first set, I must admit. I kind of wanted, you know, because we designed lots of colours and I kind of wanted them all, but it was just too big a collection. So we'll be doing more colours coming soon. So this one, you're not seeing it there. And let me switch cameras again. Flimming lights. Okay, anyway, this has been done. Is this light better? No, that's even worse. Okay. This one, you can't really see it. It's just the light's reflecting too much, so you're not getting the brightness. Even then you can't see it. Okay, anyway, this has been done with the white over the top of the Distress Oxide, which actually is really nice because it's kind of picked up some of the colour a little. So it's kind of gone a bit orangey. This one is the poinsettia. So this has been embossed. So these have all been embossed as well. So what I like to do is I like to emboss and then paste over the top, which gives you an even deeper impression. So that's the poinsettia, and Natalia's remember that's like a layering one, so you get the polka dots. It's 2 stencils in one, that one. And I've just noticed that here on the trees, which is rare, so this is your forest twinkle on the trees. And what I didn't notice before was, look, she's been clever and she's actually used the dots out of the poinsettia as well, so she's got a double layer again. And the trees again. So this one I love because what she's done here, and I never noticed it before, she's so clever. Is this, yeah, it is Natalia. So what she's done is she's actually embossed it, and then she's just sanded it. I think she's sanded it a little bit. I'm not sure what she's done. It's like a, I don't know if she's just put a bit of white paste on that. I'm not sure. Anyway, again, that poinsettia layering one, isn't that nice? Really, really lush looking. And then she's just done the centre of the flowers pink. The bauble, you're not going to see this one very well, but there you go. Love that she just used one of the baubles from the stencil there, and then just embossed, or 2 baubles, and just embossed that through. That's actually the, she's done different colours here. So on the yellow one, she's done the sunbeam, and then on the greeny blue one, she's done the ocean sparkles. So really, and then opal frost, I think, on this one, on the green. And I think ocean, in fact, she might have done, do you know what? No, I think she's done, I think it might be the ink coming through. I think she's used, no, she's definitely done different colours because there's sunbeam. So she's actually split it. It's very, very clever, that one. Very clever. And then that's the sugared pink, which is just luscious. This literally, do you know what this reminds me of? Strawberry gelato. When you open this, look at this. Didn't show you that before. Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy. That literally just, that is delicious. It just really reminds me of strawberry gelato. It really does. It's very, very nice. So that's that one. Very glittery. Wish the camera was playing. And then finally we've got Joy, Peace, Love. And this one again is, I think she's actually mixed here. I think she's mixed a bit of pink and the gold together. So don't forget, or actually it might be a bit of ink that she's put on and then mixed it. Because don't forget, you can mix your own colours as well. So, you know, but really nice. So that's with the Distress side. So that's your samples. So that was what we kind of mainly had on the show. Gosh, that's taken us an hour just to do that. The stencils and the butters. Why do these things take so long? I haven't even shown you my favourite thing of the show. Shall I carry on? Yeah, I think we need to carry on, don't we? So, I want to show, I kind of advertised in the MDF, we have a new MDF group, everyone. So if you're into MDF, I don't want to bombard everyone that's kind of a paper crafter into MDF. You know, if you're not into it. But so we started a new Facebook group just purely for the MDF. So I'm going to just twitch this up a bit. I don't want to go. Okay. So we have this gorgeous, gorgeous advent calendar, right? So this is a new MDF kit. Now I've got to show you what this actually makes. I dropped this earlier. So how this all comes flat packed. This actually isn't really glued together. It's just kind of slotted on, so it's not particularly stable. So I dropped it, and basically this just slots onto there. Okay. So this is the kit that you're going to get unpainted. I'm not going to take too long on it. This is what you can actually make with it. Something under there scratching. Okay, so this is just amazing. I love this so much. Isn't that gorgeous? So, but that's not it, because basically what you're going to get is you have, now I've just had to take all my bits and pieces out of my craft out of my boxes from the TV. So Here we go. This, yeah, that is the front. Sorry, not very good at working backwards. So you have this little basket on the side, this gorgeous lamp, and you can see I've actually I did mine all in, just painted it very, very quickly. And I did it on purpose. If I show you on the back, look, can you see it's quite rough and ready? I didn't bother about the edges because I wanted it to have that shabby chic look. So I just literally did white paint on here, and that was it. What I have done, and it's looking very yellow for some reason, is I used the opal frost on the base, and it looks quite yellowy. It's actually showing off that golden shimmer to it. Now, in hindsight, for snow, I would use my gloss white, I think, or maybe I might even use the Ocean Sparkles, because that one's going to give you more of a white finish than the opal. I was in a rush when I did it, and I think I picked the wrong one up. So basically, you can see how big this is. So it actually measures 25 centimeters tall, which is just under 10 inches tall. Now, in here, if you're wondering what's in the basket, in here you get all your advent numbers. So, oops, gosh. Okay. So all your little advent numbers, you're going to pop all these out and decorate these. And then this is what they look like when you've decorated them. So you're getting all your numbers. And then what you do is you basically hang your numbers on here, look. And you can swap all your numbers throughout December. How cute is that? Don't you think it's just the cutest? Now, I was thinking that what you could do, if you're going to use, like, if you've got kids in the house or something, or even not, I mean, Mr. Doodles, he's a right kid. I don't need kids. We've got one of our own, really, in the house as it is. And what you could do in the basket is you could put each day, that could have your little treat in there, couldn't it? So, oh, it looked like there was something in there, but yeah, look. So you could actually put your treat in there, and that could be the treat for that day. And then you could just put your numbers on the next day. So I might do that. I love this. I think it's so nice. If you actually make and sell for craft fairs, you need to get these, get multiples and sell them, because this would go down an absolute storm. This sold out on Hobby Maker really fast, and we had a big stock. I knew it would. We had a lot of stock and it sold out. So you can get it on the website. So the link's up in the top of the comments. But this would fly out at any kind of craft fair. Think about school fairs, school fetes, you know, whether you decorate it or not. I mean, if you want to sell the kits, if you go to craft fairs and you want to sell the kit for people to make, then and decorate themselves, then do that. I don't mind if you want to sell the kits on these. It doesn't matter to me whatsoever. So, but you get a full set of numbers. 1 to 25 is your numbers. And it comes, if you did want to sell the kit, this is what it comes like. I'm going to show you something else as well. We've got some more MDF. So this is how it comes. So you can see it's really easy to put together. Not much at all. The only tip I would give you on this, let me see if I can just show you, is, some of this is glued and some of it isn't. Right, what I would do, this piece here is 2 separate pieces, your main lamppost. So you put 2 pieces together back to back, and then these 2 are just little pieces that glue. This slot, actually, they don't even have to glue, but I would glue them. They just slot into here. Now, my only tip for you, because like I said, that comes off, this piece here, before you glue this together, it's easier to slot both pieces into the center here. So you don't need this to go through all 3. In fact, there's 4 bases, because I did 2, there's 2 here. So you've got, can you see? So this is 3 millimeters. Then you've got 2 central pieces there. So that's 6 millimeters there. Then you've got the next two bases. So you've got one base, two, then two, and that gives you the weight, because when you put all of these in here, this is pretty weighty when you put that in there. So you need the weight of the stand, and it's very sturdy actually. But what I would say is, don't try and ram this right through the whole base. Look, I actually did on mine, but you don't need to. And you know, you can just go down into the first base if you want to. So I glued all my bases together first, put the glue in, and then I put one of the posts in, jiggled it around because it's a really tight fit. We wanted it to be a tight fit so that it's got the stability. If it's not tight, it's going to actually, you know, because you can see I haven't glued mine in yet, and you can see it's starting to get a bit of a wonk on. So this is why you need that stability. So, you know, you put the glue in the bottom of the hole, then put one of the posts in, and then make sure it's all in there. You've got it as deep as you want, and then it's easier to slide the second one in than it is if you glue them together. I struggled to get it in when I glued it together. So do it that way. That's my only tip, and that's the only thing really that I would say is maybe a little bit more difficult about the whole thing. But yeah, that bit just slots on there like that. I mean, you can see how tight it is, that just slots on. It doesn't even need gluing. And again, you could leave that like that, and then you can take that apart for next year. It's sturdy enough that you can leave it like that. But you know, if you want to just take that off and then store it away for next year, you could do. And equally, I mean, I haven't glued this base in. You could take this out, this base. It is actually coming out, but you could take that out, and then you can store it a bit easier maybe. But anyway, that's the advent calendar. And then let me put this out of the way, otherwise I'll knock it over like I did earlier and nearly break the whole entire thing. So then we have, oh, and I love these. I love these so much. So then we have another two. This is, I think you've got different options with this. So this is the Santa and tag ornament set, okay? So this is just the cutest thing ever. So this is it. You're going to get this. You get two. So you can either, on Hobby Maker, we had these together. So you had 4 in a set. But I've actually split them. So you've got 2 separate kits here if you want them to be like that. So, and you're still going to get 2 in each kit. I keep going the wrong way, I'm like. So this is Santa, this is the tags. Okay, I'm going to show you what you can actually make. These are just so cute. Excuse me. So I'm going to show you the tags first. So this is just, oh, gorge. Ooh, where are we? There, that way. That way, Nikki, that way. Hang on. Can we swap cameras? It'll be a bit easier. You know what I'm like. Okay, let's go that way. Okay. No, the camera's gone all the brightness. What's going on? Everything's too bright. It wasn't like that when we started. Okay, here we go. So you're going to get 2 tags that are this size. So you can see it's a really big, decent size. And basically, this is how you make those. Now, you've got different frame options in here. For a start, this pops out, look. So, have we got any MDF people that have joined us today? I did get there eventually. Sorry, I didn't mean for this to go on so long. I was going to actually thinking about doing a separate MDF live, but we've kind of gone into it. So, don't throw this away. You could use this for things. This would make a great window kind of project, or just really nice to add onto a card, because it'd fit in A5 cards, so don't throw that away. This then pops, oh, that doesn't pop out. This is engraved. So again, you don't have to use this on this project if you don't want to. You could actually be a bit frugal and use that separately. Then you've got your main frame. which pops out. The idea is that then sits on there and creates the frame for your actual tag or your decoration. The idea is these are actually decorations. They're lovely and they're just a nice size. They're weighty but not too heavy. If you did feel like it's a bit heavy, then like I say, don't put the back on. And I probably wouldn't in hindsight. I would leave that and use that separate. And I would use this and then just back it with some cardstock. So I would just, you know, make my own backer for it. And it makes it a lot lighter for hanging on a tree if that's what you're going to do. And these are super simple, but really, really nice. So you're just going to pop these bits out. And then this is what you get. And how nice, again, if you're selling at craft fairs, if you're making things for school fairs or any kind of craft fair, you know, these will be really popular. And can you see how I decorated this one? So this I have actually used the back, so the backer piece. And all I did was I painted that in white, okay, and I just roughly painted it. And then what I did was I actually got my pokey tool and I scratched into the paint. Okay, so even when it was still drying, but basically you can scratch like that into the paint. And can you see? You actually end up putting your own texture in there, so it looks like wood grain. So, you know, it looks really, really distressed. And then just colour it as you wish. I put a little bit of the stencil butter. Again, I was a bit mad, went a bit mad with that opal frosting on there. And so I've done that all around the edges just to give it that sort of snowy look. I think it would, in fact, do you know what? I want to do that now. I want to add, because it's bugging me that I used the wrong colour really. I wanted to use, I didn't have time when I was doing these. I was doing them just before the show. So literally, I'm going to just add that. And because it's so thick, it kind of, you can get that kind of snowy effect on here. Or what you could do is you could just, if you just get your fingers in, this washes off okay. It's obviously all non-toxic and everything. But you could just do a flat coverage on there if you wanted. I've just gone in a bit in the cutouts, so just pull that out if you don't want it in the cutouts, but that'll give me a slightly different look, so more of a sort of snowy look. So the opal frosting, like I say, it's more of a creamy pearl colour, so I would, it's up to you obviously how you want to do it. But for snow, I think the ocean sparkle's the way to go. You see, look how you can get that dimension building up. And the butters are, you know, we've purposely done these at quite a low price. You know, they're not huge pots. The reason I didn't do huge pots was because I don't want them drying out on you. Because I don't know about you, but I'm fed up of having products that, especially things like this, where I tend to use maybe more at Christmas time. My hair in there. And I went the other day, when I started doing this, I went into I've got some snow paste that I've had for a long, you know, admittedly, I've had it a long time, but I went in to use it and it had all dried up. And it was actually rock solid in the pot, even though it'd been stored correctly and everything. And it is so annoying. So I didn't want to have huge big pots that sit there on your desk, and then next time you do go to use it, because we all have lots of products, don't we? You know, I'm the same as you guys. I've got everything as well. You know, I buy all, you know, I've got Lisa Horton stuff, you know, I buy it all just like you do. And you know, I don't want it to dry out, so I was very adamant that I wanted smaller pots, that I would rather buy another one and run out of it than it actually go to waste. That's better. So I like it better with the kind of more of a blue tone on it. So that's all you need to do. So, but if you were selling that at a craft fair, you would easily be able to sell that for what, $3.99, and I think that's the price of the kit. So you know, you'd be able to make your money back on these easily. And I would pile these up. I would make loads. They're so quick and easy to do. So that's that was the ocean sparkles, right? Okay, so that's that one. Just conscious that we've been here for ages now. Right, let me get on. So we've got a little Santa here. So let me show you Santa. How cute is Santa? This is why I left him till last, because he's just adorable. And again, I used that opal on him as well, and I don't want the opal on there. I want to do it in the, oh no, look. Why was I so impatient? I kind of want to put a bit of, look, I've got no qualms about getting my fingers in this. So if you have got kids, you know, that is perfectly safe. So let's just put that blue finish on there, and it'll just look a little bit better. I need to just poke that out now. So all Santa does, I'm going to show you in a second. I made a mess there. I got a bit carried away, and I've poked all paste into my snowflake. I don't want in there. It's going to take all the definition out. And like I say, it does dry quite quickly. So let me just see if I can wipe that off, that one. That might be all right. Might have saved it. So he's got a bit on his beard. So I'm just going to do it with my fingers. You see? It looks like he's got a mucky beard, basically. I was doing this just before we went on air with them, so like I said, I kind of did what I had to hand, and it was opal frost was at the top and the ocean wasn't, so in hindsight. But look how you can get all that texture on his beard. That's better. It just takes this. It's just got like an ivory glow, which I kind of didn't want. I wanted like a bit of a snowy glow. Okay, right. How cool. So he is so easy. Now, again, he's big, look, that's the palm of my hand. That's how big he is. And you've got lots of dimensions. So look how many layers you've got. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers to this. Now, this is a really great project that the kids can make this summer. So if you've got kids on holiday, he is definitely one to get for the kids. So look, all you've got to do with him, let me just zoom out a little bit so you can see a bit better. All you've got to do, pop him out. This is your base bit. Okay. And then that's his hat. You don't even need to paint all of this, guys. So that's his hat there. Okay. You've got, this is how I do it. So then you've got his furry bit. You've got his face with the eyes already put in there. Now, this all slots. Okay. So, sorry, I'm doing that left-handed. So this slots together to make up. Put that in out there. Okay. So then oops, just get your poker tool if anything's a little bit tricky. Okay, that's how I get them out. Oops. This bit then slots onto there, look, so you get like a double. Now, it's up to you if you want to have his face in there or not. Come on, get on, there you go. Okay. So it's up to you if you want the face. The face has got the eyes in. So, and then this bit, his little moustache goes over the top. You've got his bobble for his hat. Like I say, you've got that bit for his hat. And then finally, you've got his nose. So that's how he goes together. Now, If you want to, you can leave the face part out as well and draw your own eyes in. It's up to you. So that's completely up to you. So that's him. That's how easy it is. This is why it's great for the kids. Absolutely great. This is going to be like a family heirloom, isn't it? It's one of those pieces that you're going to get out every year, and especially if you get the kids making them as well. You know, I mean, it's just the things that bring you joy, isn't it? You know, I mean, think about grandparents. Get the kids to make the grandparents one of these. You know, the grandparents would absolutely love it. They'd be amazed. So look at how detailed this piece is. So just pops out. Pop all the little pieces out. It is worth doing. Oops. So just, it's very, very intricate. There's a lot of like little bits in there that is just worth. Just spend a little more time just popping out all these little bits if you can. Just like your Polkadoodles. Some of them might be a bit small, but generally they'll all come out nice and easy. So this is your main embellishment. Look, I was a bit impatient there. I've just knocked that off. So this is your main sort of embellishment. So you can put that on him wherever you want it to go. I like it kind of there. And then you've got holly that sits on there. That's 3 layers. And then you've got like your little snowflake there, and that just sits on the top. And that is how easy that is to do. Now this is weighty, I must admit. So you have got a hole to hang him there. You've got, so he is a bauble. You know, or it could be in the window. You know, it could be wherever you want it to be. But it's a very, very weighty. If you were making this again to sell or even as a gift, whoever gets this is going to feel the weight of this and know that it's a really good quality piece. But what I mean is, all you need to decorate on here, this bit of his hat, white beard. This is like a project that can easily just take you half an hour to do. You know, not even that probably. So, you know, just absolutely adorable. Look at him. How can anyone not want to make him? Look at him. It's adorable. Aww, isn't he cute? And then, so if you had that and that one hanging on your tree would just look so authentic and original. But like I say, if you're selling at a craft fair or anything like that, I would stack the. I literally would be snapping this up. I'd be buying multiples, and if any of you want to do that and you want to buy multiples, if you message me and tell me how many you want, I'll sort you a discount out. But don't forget, you've also got a code. I haven't even mentioned that. Live 15, and that gives you 15% off. So you could multiple these, you know, buy multiples to sell. And or if you've got, you know, like if you do a craft club or anything like that, I think MDF's great for craft clubs. And now with out of school clubs, anything like that, you know, they just go down a storm with the kids. Is there any summer holiday? Do they have summer holiday clubs? I don't know. We used to, where we used to live, we had a school at the end of the road, and there was always like a summer holiday club. You know, and this sort of stuff is just perfect for something like that. Right, okay. Wow, another long one. So I hope you've enjoyed everything that I've shown you today. I think it's been a really nice release. I think we've got some lovely things. Right, okay. So, B&D Crafts, you're welcome. Glad you got it. You got that quite quickly. I only sent that off the other day. You've got that really fast, so that's good. B&D Crafts won a couple of weeks ago. Right, okay, so we've got lots and lots of comments. Lots of people on Instagram as well. So thank you. Wow, how many of you on Instagram? Loads of you. Right, okay, so thank you for joining me on Instagram. I hope you have enjoyed everything. Right, so we need to go and pick a winner then, don't we? So remember, there is a link. I'm going to paste it again here. Let me just, if I can. Oh, I've lost it. There's a link right at the top of the comments. Third one down. There's a link to the shop where to get all of everything that I've shown you today. And don't forget code live15. And let me see. Okay, I'm going to do it. Gosh, too many. I can't scroll enough. Random winner, random winner, random winner. Crafty Field, I've done it. So can you check your spam? Because I've definitely done it. I've done your win. I did it last time. We talked about it. So I have done it for sure. 100% that has been done. So the email is, you're not getting the email for some reason. So yeah, it has been done. I'm just looking, Deborah, you could leave that bit off and make a Christmas brooch out of it. Do you mean the bauble bit? You might be able to. Actually, you could, you know. Yeah, so just before we do the winner. So what Deborah's saying is, on the Santa, if you didn't put the base on, which has got the hanger on it, then, and you just, what you could do, because that's the base, so what you could do is trace around this and just make one out of cardstock, and then without the bauble on, and then you could attach your other bits onto the cardstock if you wanted to make it as a brooch. It's massive though. It's a big brooch, Deborah. I mean, you could do it, but it's a bit big. I don't know if how that's gonna go. It's a bit huge. So, but yeah, if you wanted to do that, then yeah, you could. Right, okay, let's go for a winner. Let me see. I am scrolling. Okay, I've got to go. Hang on. I need to get various things. Okay. Sue Pettis. So, Sue, you are our winner. Sue, I know you're on Instagram, so if you can just direct message me, and or actually no, don't direct message. I'll actually message you if I can. Actually, I might not be able to if we're not friends. If you can, let me get it right. If you can email me at website@polkadoodles.co.uk, I will sort out your win. Okay, so you are going to win 3 stencil butters and a stencil. Okay, so I'm going to send you the Super Snowflake stencil and 3 stencil butters. Okay, so if you can message me at website@polkadoodles.co.uk and I will get your prize in the post. So thank you. I'm going to head off. I need to go get a drink because I'm about to start getting croaky again. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget, we're on Hobby Maker on Sunday, a week today, again, with, we don't have anything new on the show as such, but we have lots of amazing, and I mean incredible bargains. So like clearance deals. So if you fancy some bargains and filling up your stash box, then you need to join me on Hobby Maker on Sunday afternoon. I think it might be like 3 o'clock and then 6 or 7. I know we've got a late show, I think. Yeah, Crafty Field, I'm just going to answer you again at the end. So if you can join, so make sure you join us on Hobby Maker on Sunday. I am also going to try and do a TikTok this week. So first time for me to do a live on TikTok. So I will be posting details of that. So I'm going to do a TikTok show. You knew somebody was going to fall over, didn't you? So anyway, thank you for joining me. It's been another mammoth session. Thank you for all your orders. I can see that you've all been buying and snapping up the MDF and everything. Gosh, at this rate, everything's going to be sold out. So thank you, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Congratulations to our winner, and don't forget to use code LIVE15 to get 15% off your order until Tuesday. You've got 2 days, so 48 hours to use that code, and that's it. And that code is just for you guys. It's an exclusive for joining me on the live. I will be posting this into the website section. So if you want to see any of the products that I've used and you don't know what they are, head to the website polkadoodles.co.uk, and on the homepage at the top there's a section that says TV and live shows. Go in there and all the products for today's show are actually listed with the date. And once I get off here and save the YouTube feed, I will have that on there if you want to go back over anything that I've shown you today, any like little tips and techniques or anything. That all links through as well into that section too. So have a really great Sunday, and I won't be back next week because obviously I'm going to be at Hobby Maker. I might be back at another time during the week though. I'm going to say might because when we've got a Hobby Maker show, it's a really busy week. We have a lot to do. We have a lot of stuff to prep and everything else. But I'd really like to do another live before we do Hobby Maker. So I'm going to try my hardest to actually do one. So in fact, why don't I commit to it now? Why don't we do let me see. I can't. Oh no, I can't. I was going to do Wednesday and I can't. It's someone's birthday. I can't do Wednesday, so Wednesday's out. I'll let you know. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do one. But anyway, I'll make sure you signed up to the newsletter and all that jazz. Okay, right, I'm going. Thank you, everyone. It's been lovely. See you soon. Bye.